Hello and welcome to Extra Innings. I am Van Noland. I am joined tonight, as always, by Owen Noland. Postseason baseball, the championship series for each league is upon us. Really intense, really fun, a lot of fun baseball to watch. So far, Owen, you didn't have any minor league news for us, did you?
Unfortunately not. Minor league baseball is all over, at least until next year.
Yes. And the Arizona Fall League, though, has started.
The Arizona Fall League, that is true. It has started. Peter Alonso, I know, has been hitting well. He's been hitting over 400. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has continued right where he left off in the regular season, hitting well. So lots of top prospects playing well in the Arizona Fall League. However, that is not the main focus of our show tonight. I know what you guys all care about is the postseason. The AL and NLCS are going on. The ALCS as we speak to you tonight. And Van's got a recap of how we got to this point so far.
Yes, I do. Postseason baseball returned on Friday, October 12th after 2 days off, giving the teams some time to rest. The National League Championship Series began in Milwaukee. The Brewers won Game 1. That was at the time their 12th consecutive victory. So the Brewers, clearly the hottest team in baseball at that time, beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers scored 3 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th. They got it to within 1. But it was not enough, as Corey Knebel saved it for the Milwaukee Brewers. On Saturday, we got 2 postseason baseball games. In the NL, the Dodgers evened the series up at 1 apiece. The Dodgers fell behind early in this one, 3-0, but responded and scored 2 runs in the 7th and the 8th inning to take the lead and beat the Brewers. The other game on Saturday was ALCS Game 1, in which the Astros won 7-2. This game was a lot closer than the score would tell you. The Astros got 4 in the 9th inning to end the Red Sox hopes of a comeback at the time. The Astros scored 7 runs on just 5 hits, but it was a magnificent outing from Justin Verlander to open the series with a win. Game 2 of the ALCS was on Sunday. The Red Sox won that game by a score of 7-5. Matt Barnes got the win for the Red Sox. David Price, not his best start, but the offense was able to come through. Price 4 2/3, 4 earned runs and 4 walks.
It was the first postseason start made by David Price where his team that he was pitching for ended up winning. So very interesting for David Price, thinking about all the things he's accomplished in his career. Cy Young Awards, obviously a very good pitcher. And he never started a postseason game in which his team won. Now, he did start a tie-breaking game against the Texas Rangers in 2013, in which the Tampa Bay Rays won. But that is not technically considered the postseason. Every other start he's made in the postseason, his team had lost before this one. So just something interesting of note there.
NLCS Game 3 was on the 15th of October. The Brewers scored a run in the 1st, a run in the 6th, and 2 runs in the 7th to defeat the Dodgers 4-0. This game was also closer than the score would indicate. The Dodgers got the bases loaded in the ninth inning with the winning run up to the plate, but could not cash in. And the Brewers won 4-0. Jeremy Jeffress pitched the ninth inning, got himself into a little trouble. It was looking like it might be like some of his other postseason outings, but he was able to clamp it down and get the... Well, he didn't get the save because he put himself in the situation, but shut the door on the Dodgers, and that gave the Brewers a 2-1 series lead. On Tuesday, we were back to 2 baseball games. This was yesterday. The Red Sox won by a score of 8-2. Nathan Eovaldi gave up a run in the first, a run in the fifth, but other than that was fairly unhittable for the majority of the night. He ended up going 6 innings and had 4 strikeouts. The rest of the Red Sox bullpen shut the door on the Astros, not allowing a single run and only allowing 1 hit across 3 innings. The Red Sox, like an earlier game, scored 5 late runs and pulled ahead at the end.
You're really not going to talk about the Jackie Bradley Jr. Grand Slam? That's why they won it by so much. It was a lot closer than really 8-2 or whatever the final ended up being.
Yes, the 5 runs in the 8th was because of the Jackie Bradley Jr. Grand Slam.
Yes.
NLCS Game 4 was yesterday. The Brewers scored... the Dodgers scored a run in the first. The Brewers scored a run in the 5th. And then the Dodgers scored a run in the 13th to walk it off, thanks to a Cody Bellinger single in the 13th inning. There were 2 outs in the 13th inning when Cody Bellinger got the hit. So this was maybe the best game of the championship series so far.
I would say so.
For sure say so far. And really, regardless of what else happens, I would have to assume it would be the top game. But we had some controversy in this game. The Brewers were turning... Was it a double play? And Manny Machado hit the ground ball and while running to first base, stepped on Jesus Aguilar's foot at first base. The Brewers thought that it was kind of a cheap play.
I think it was too. I agree with the Brewers.
Yes, I do definitely agree with the Brewers. I think that was definitely a cheap play. Not the best series for Manny Machado.
It's been an interesting one for sure, to say the least. For Manny Machado, really not putting his best self out there for teams. He's going to be a free agent this winter. You wonder what impact this will have on his free agency. If I was a team, I would not want to sign him for $300 million this offseason. I'm just saying. I know I'm not a GM of a team, and I don't have that decision, but if I did, I would not want Manny Machado on my team.
Yes, we will get more into that in just a few moments. But NLCS Game 5 was this afternoon. The Dodgers won by a score of 5-2. And ALCS Game 4 is going on as we speak. The Astros have the 5-4 lead in the top half of the 6th inning. Let's first start with the NL series. We have 5 games complete, and the Dodgers have a 3-2 series lead, with the series headed back to Milwaukee. First, give me your thoughts just on the series in general so far. What are some of your takeaways from both teams' play?
This has been a very close series, one that I think will go 7 games. The Brewers have used some interesting strategies. Today they pulled their starting pitcher after just 5 pitches. It ended up backfiring and didn't quite work out for them, but I don't think it was because they did that. I think it was because you let Brandon Woodruff, is that how you say his name? Woodruff face the Dodgers lineup a third time, which Craig Counsell hasn't done a whole lot in this postseason. Only letting their starter or a particular pitcher face the lineup 2 times. He let Woodruff go back out there to face the lineup a third time, and it ended up costing them today. Big time, actually. But for the most part, Craig Counsell has done a good job managing his pitchers, and it's really tough when you have a game that goes 13 innings like the one last night. How do you manage your bullpen? A lot of people were scratching their heads when they pulled their starting pitcher after just one batter. But that was, I think...
I wasn't.
I know you weren't, but people that didn't realize that this was the plan all along were very confused by it.
Let's explain why they did it.
Yes, why don't you go ahead and explain that?
So Wade Miley is a left-handed pitcher and Brandon Woodruff is a right-handed pitcher. So when the Brewers announced that they were going to start Wade Miley, the Dodgers got a lot of the right-handed bats in the lineup. David Freese got the start over Jock Peterson, and Kike Hernandez got the start over Yasiel Puig. So because the Dodgers are so reliant on platoons based on what pitcher they're facing, it really has an effect on the Dodgers lineup. And I think this was genius by Craig Counsell. I just would have liked to see him stick to his principles later in the game. By the time Brandon Woodruff was getting ready to face the third time through the order, Jock Peterson had already had one at bat, and Yasiel Puig was getting ready to come off the bench and replace Kike Hernandez. Yasiel Puig does not face lefties, even though he is a right-handed hitter. He has reverse splits, so he does better against right-handed hitters than he does against right-handed pitchers than he does against left-handed pitchers. So by the third time through the order, that not only had the Dodgers players that had already been in there started to figure him out, but the Dodgers had their lineup against the right-handed pitcher getting ready to come up and bat. So I think had he taken Woodruff out and not had him face the third time through the order, I think this is a completely different ballgame. I think if you just rely on what's got you here, which has been your bullpen, I think the Brewers have a real good shot at stealing one in LA. So I think that was the mistake by Craig Counsell. But other than that, I really liked the idea of having Wade Miley only come out and throw 5 pitches. The Dodgers had their lineup ready to face Wade Miley, and then next thing they know, Brandon Woodruff is coming in. So very interesting. Definitely a new style, kind of like the opener, except this is
an abbreviated version of the opener?
Yes.
Have him only face one batter, then take him out of the game?
Yes. Do you think this will become more prevalent in baseball?
Just as you've seen the trend of starting with a reliever, bullpenning, the opener, become more popular in 2018, this is just the next step, in a way, the next part of the evolution of pitching. In 2018, it might not be the last time you see it used this year, which is interesting to think about considering we're already in October. It'll be interesting to see coming 2019 how many teams implement things like this. Teams that didn't do it this year, if this ends up working out, if the Brewers maybe make it to the World Series or possibly even win the World Series. Because Craig Counsell has done a tremendous job managing his pitching and knowing when, except for today with Brandon Woodruff, knowing when to take guys out, when to put certain guys in. That's, I think, what he did so well in the NLDS against the Colorado Rockies. He, in my opinion, outmanaged Bud Black in that series, and that's why the Brewers ended up sweeping the Rockies.
Yes, I think it's easy to look at the result from today's game and say, oh man, that didn't work out as planned for Craig Counsell. But if he applies the bullpenning principles afterwards, once Wade Miley has exited the game and Brandon Woodruff, although he's a starter, he's built to go 5, 6, 7 innings. Although he's built for that, I think if he treats it like a bullpen game and pulls Woodruff when they're getting ready to start the third time through the lineup for the Dodgers, I think this is a completely different ballgame, like I already mentioned. But I think a lot of GMs will be smart enough to realize that. And what the Colin fan might not realize is that the result might not be what he wanted, but a minor tweak, and this game is completely different. So I don't think in any way that this will ruin the thought of, what shall we call this, the one-batter starter?
Something like that.
In the future of Major League Baseball, I agree with you, and I think this will become kind of a trend later. But the series has gotten heated. The Manny Machado spiking of Jesus Aguilar's foot, and then the benches cleared after that. So if this series does end up going 7 games, I'm sure it will be very, very exciting. This will also be interesting because I had the Dodgers winning last week, and Owen, you picked the Brewers to win.
Yes, I did. I'm going to stick to that because the Brewers' pitching is still better than the Dodgers. Nothing has changed in the past week to make me want to change my prediction. And once you get Christian Yelich, who I don't want to say struggled, but he hasn't lived up to the expectations that I think people had of him after watching his regular season. He's not been bad, but you haven't seen him really make a difference with a clutch hit, a big home run yet in this series. I think he'll step up and come up with a clutch hit to keep the Brewers season alive.
Yeah, the Dodgers pitching has done a great job keeping him in check, and also Lorenzo Cain, who has struggled so far this postseason. So that will be interesting to see. The Brewers are going to need those two players to step up, now facing elimination for the first time this postseason. On to the AL. The Red Sox have taken a 6-5 lead over the Astros in tonight's game. That game is in the bottom of the 6th. I'm trying to find out how they scored. Oh, wow. Well, this is a shock. Jackie Bradley Jr., 2-out home run. That has been the story of the postseason for the Boston Red Sox. Jackie Bradley Jr. basically carrying this team to victory. If the Red Sox go on to win today, he could be solely responsible for 2 playoff wins this series. And that's pretty crazy considering it's much like the Astros, Christian Yelich and Lorenzo Cain not playing up to the regular season numbers. Mookie Betts and JD Martinez have struggled just a bit in the postseason thus far. Jackie Bradley Jr., who has had all the clutch hits for the Red Sox, hitting in the 9th spot in the order. JD Martinez does have a hit today. Actually, does he have a hit today? No, he actually does not. I don't think so anyways. Have a hit. But Jackie Bradley Jr. carrying the Boston Red Sox. Rick Porcello, not the best outing from him. 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs. And on the other side, the same can be said. Charlie Morton, 2 1/3, 3 earned runs. And then Josh James, 3 2/3 with 3 earned runs as well for the Astros. So the Red Sox bullpen, with the exception of Joe Kelly giving up just 1 run, has held the Astros scoreless thus far. Well, I guess that's only been 1 inning. So, not a whole lot of sample size yet, but the Red Sox bullpen is going to have to come up clutch if they're going to win this game and take a 3-1 series lead. That would be huge for the Red Sox, winning 2 games in Houston.
Yes, it would be big for the Boston Red Sox to take 2 from the defending world champs in their home ballpark. I can't stress it enough how important that would be for Boston to go back home in full control of the series. And if they're able to hang on tonight, let's see, do they go back to Boston after this, or do they play one more?
They have 1 more in Houston, and then they head back to Boston.
Okay, so taking 2 out of 3 in Houston, even if they lose on, let's see, tomorrow's Thursday. Even if they lose tomorrow, they still go back home with a 3-2 series lead and a chance to clinch it in front of their home fans. I like the Red Sox chances if they can hang on tonight. The Astros, however, were my pick, I believe, a week ago to advance to the World Series. So, if my pick is to be correct, I'm going to need them to come back in this one. They're only down a run, though, and it's only the 6th inning. So there's still time for the Astros to come back.
Yes, lots of time. That's the beauty of baseball. You have to get all 27 outs. There is no running at the clock, dribbling at the clock. So, we will see. That is our postseason recap to this point. Next week, at this time, we will have World Series baseball, correct?
I believe so, yes.
So that will be next week's show. Do you have anything else to add, Owen?
No, I do not.
All right. That will do it for tonight's podcast. We would like to thank you for listening whenever and however you have been listening to Extra Innings on National Sports Radio.